5 commissioners.
Okay.
Okay, so, all right, well, let me get this meeting started anyway. Okay. Good evening. This is the Zoning Board of Appeals, November.
Hey, Joe,
Yes.
hang on a second. I'll figure this out, but in finding the password, I've lost the visual, which is really helpful when people talk. I can hear you, but I can't see you. Well, anyway, you guys carry on. I'll figure this out.
Okay.
I probably just minimized it or something.
All right. Again, this is the Zoning Board of Appeals, November 2020. Let's see here. Let me just read this. Prepared for our meetings, for our Zoom meetings. In accordance with the Freedom of Information Act and Governor Lamont's executive orders, this meeting is being recorded and will be made available on the City of Milford website. During this meeting, if members of the Zoning Board of Appeals would like to speak, please utilize the unmute feature via Zoom and wait to be recognized. All participants will be muted during the meeting unless recognized by the chair. After being recognized to speak, please state your name and, for the members of the public, your address prior to making a statement. Okay, so we're going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Meg, how we doing? You want to do the roll call? Or?
Sure. Yeah, I'm all set again. So Mr. Dubois and Mr. Wolf have excused themselves.
They're excused.
So Ms. Ferrante.
Here.
Ms. Valcott. Chrissy.
Here.
Thanks. Mr. Soda.
Here.
Mr. Casey.
Here.
Mr. Tizzola.
Here.
And Mr. Hirsch, has he joined us or?
No, we don't see him here right now.
Okay.
No. All right.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Casey, I would like you will be voting this evening for Mr. Wolf.
Okay.
So, all right. So we have 5 commissioners for the hearing. Mr. Soda is going to recuse himself from our first hearing tonight, which is item number 2. So for that hearing, let's see, I believe Mr. Crisaden is presenting that meeting.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Crisaden, yes, I'm going to mention those. I will. Mr.
Yes, sir.
Crisaden,
Yes, sir.
you will have the option where you're only going to have 4 votes for your hearing. So.
Yes, I've spoken with my client. We're going to go forward.
Okay, all right. So to bring to your attention, if anyone is here this evening for item number 1 is 17 Maddox Avenue. That has been postponed until December.
and
You are here for item number 3, 8 Lawrence Avenue is also postponed to December 8th, our next meeting. All right, so we have our board installed. And if anyone feels that there's a commissioner that might be a conflict of interest with their application, please let us know. Otherwise, I think I've covered everything. Ms. Ferranti,
Yes.
item number 2.
Item number 2, 69 Dart Hill Road, MBP 113-9/912/46A, RA, Kevin Crisaden Esquire for Lisa Chico's owner, vary section 3.1.4.1, side yard setback to 9.3 feet where 25 feet required.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm in a location where my connectivity is a little bit less than normal. So if it's okay with you, I'm not going to turn my video on.
Sure.
My office is at 3 Lafayette Street here in Milford. I'm representing Lisa Chicos and Michael Chicos. Michael's on the call with us. This is pretty straightforward. The only thing I would add, other than what was read on the roll with the announcement of the variance, is that this is an extension of an existing garage. It's actually, the garage is actually 12 feet away from the property line now. So we're asking for a variance for another 3 feet. the setback is actually 25 feet because this is, this garage is attached. So rather than it be an accessory structure where I think it would be 4 or 5 feet, we actually, since it's attached to the principal structure, the setback is the principal structure setback of 25 feet. So right now, we're not going from, 25 feet down to 9. We're asking to go from 12 down to 9, but really it's a 25-foot required setback, which we're already encroaching on. And the reason for the extension of the garage is, well, I'll start with the hardship is the shape of the lot. It's not a square, obviously, and also the location of the existing structure on the lot, which when the structure was built, it was built to the far, if you're looking at it from the street, to the far left-hand side of the property. So it just leaves a limited amount of room. If the garage was not attached, we wouldn't need a variance, but it is attached, so that's what we're here for. Mr. Chicos had wanted to clean up another structure in the yard that's decaying and combine it all into one structure with a growing family and a daughter and grandkids living at home with him. His goal is to consolidate everything into one structure. And that's what's requiring the extension of the garage. He did get letters from all of the neighbors that's been submitted. I don't know if you had an opportunity to look at it, saying they have no objection to the plans. So the hardship is the shape of the lot and the locations of the existing structures on the lot. It's pretty straightforward request. So I don't have anything else to add, just to answer questions.
Okay, I have a question right now. It's hard to read what is the actual addition on the back? And it's just attached, correct? And it looks like there's a doorway from the existing garage, just a doorway going in. There's no other overhead garage doors anywhere. And there's also an entry from the rear of the property. Is that correct?
Correct. There's no additional garage doors. It's just extending the existing garage back. So whether there's a separate entrance, I'd have to, double check the floor plans, but there's not a separate garage. There's not new garage doors.
Okay.
There's not additional garage doors, I should
Okay.
say.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking at the print is very small, so just wanted to make that. Commissioners, any questions? Any other questions? No other questions? No? Mr. Casey, any questions? No? Okay. All right, is there anyone else speaking in favor of this application this evening? Is there anyone here opposed? Anyone opposed? As stated by Attorney Crusaden, I guess you have a few letters, Meg, in favor that were submitted.
There was actually a list of signatures under a statement saying that there was no objection to the plan, and there were I believe eight families represented.
Okay. All right. Any other comments or questions before I close this this hearing? No? Okay. This hearing is closed. All right. As Attorney Crusaden had stated, is pretty straightforward. Is the problem, of course, is the location. This is a big piece of property, and it seems like everything's jammed into one corner. Why they built it that way, who knows? But that is the situation. Any other thoughts or comments before we have a motion? No? Okay. Well, our commissioners are muted right now. Sarah, you can, and Mike, you can all be unmuted, please. So.
I can,
Go ahead,
Oh,
Mr. Casey.
I'm making motion to approve the variance because the
All
unequal like landscape.
Okay. We need a second.
Second,
Okay. We have a motion to approve. We have a second on the motion. Ms. Ferranti,
with the motion.
Mr. Casey,
With the motion.
Ms. Falcott.
With the motion.
I'm with the motion. It passes.
Thank you.
Item number 4, 15 Corona Drive, MVP 66/813/92, R10, Jonathan Kranicki, owner. Vary section 4.1.4 to 18.1 feet where 21 feet is permitted to construct a porch with shed roof.
All right. Also, Mr. Soto will be joining us for the rest of the evening. So we have 5 commissioners now for our voting. Who's doing the presentation on 15 Corona?
This is Jonathan Krenicki, 15 Corona Drive owner. How you doing today, guys?
We're doing good. Hope you are.
Good. First time in front of the zoning board, so go easy on me.
We are.
I'm just a homeowner.
We are easy.
Thank you, guys. So I'm looking for an extra 2 feet 11 inches on a front porch. The hardship, was the position of the property in relation to the front property line. Also, I have a handicapped child that's going to utilize the front porch to get out to the driveway. It's very important for him. He is, cannot walk unassisted. So it's something that we really need here.
Okay. Yeah. Anything else you want to tell us about this, or we're all set?
No, I think it's pretty straightforward. Just a porch with a roof over top, and I did everything I was supposed to do. Sent all the letters to everyone, and my neighbors seem to be fine with everything. I haven't heard anything. Just positive things that they're looking forward to it. It's really gonna boost. It's the first house on the street. It was kind of bought the house about 6 years ago, a little run down. The whole front of the house got damaged in that tropical storm we had on August 2nd. Through one of the trees in the front yard, smashed everything, the whole front. So we're in the process of redoing all that stuff. So I'm looking for that extra 2 feet 11 inches.
Great. So has work already begun on this, or are you going to be extending it further than it already is? And going by there, we do come by and look at the properties.
Yep.
And I can see there's a lot of construction going on already, which made me believe that possibly you've already started and you realized you need the variance, or
Correct.
what's the
And
situation?
yeah, there's a lot of different permits. We had to replace the roof up top, siding, everything got damaged, like I said, from one of the trees that were in the front of the yard from that tropical storm. So when we were going through everything, I was told that I needed to go through this process to make everything official, make everything right. So I'm trying to do the right thing.
Okay. Any other questions, commissioners?
Is there going to be a wheelchair ramp that's going to project any further?
No, we're putting steps on the side into the driveway. It's not going to encroach more than that 2 feet 11 inches. And the reason being is my son can walk with handrails. He cannot walk. He does not have a wheelchair currently. He is 10 years old. Eventually we could probably put a wheelchair ramp when he gets a little older, but that would go right into the driveway on the left-hand side. It wouldn't go into the street. It wouldn't go in the front of the house. It would go to the left side. And we have plenty of room on the driveway. The driveway is like 20 feet wide.
Any other questions? Anyone else speaking in favor of this application? Is there anyone here opposed? Anyone here opposed? No further questions? Great. This hearing's closed. Comments, your thoughts, please. Motion. Everything okay?
Yeah, everything seems fine to me.
Okay.
Ready for a motion?
You gonna make a
I
motion?
make a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Soto, any other comments on why?
The hardship of the porch being too close, the existing too close to the street.
We have a motion to approve, and we have a second on the motion. Ms. Ferranti,
With the motion.
Mr. Casey,
With the motion.
Mr. Soto,
With the motion.
Ms. Falcott.
With the motion.
I'm with the motion. It's approved.
Item number 5, 38 Harborview Drive, NBP 45/517/9, R 12.5. Brian Burdo for Stacy Burdo, owner, vary section 4.1.4 to 10.4 feet where 26 feet is permitted to construct a detached garage. Section 3.1.4.1, setback of 10.4 feet where 30 feet required for house addition.
Good evening. This is attorney Marissa Klein on behalf of Brian Burdo for 38 Harborview Avenue. I'm from Zeldy's Needle and Cooper in Bridgeport. So I think that the main issue here is just that it's the property as of right now is considered, I think, a corner lot by the zoning board, when in fact the street that is named on the map right here, Walker Street, is not, it's just a paper road. It's not actually under the defined terms an actual road or pass through for any cars. It doesn't have street signs. There's no way for a car to pass through as of right now. So the issue is that side of the yard is considered a front yard, which is restricting the detached garage from being built the 10.4 feet from the property line, as well as the structural alteration or addition being built 10.4 feet because it's considered a front yard, when in fact it should be considered a side yard. So I think that that's the main issue here. And then from that, the detached garage, because it's an accessory, I mean, I believe that according to the regulations, it can be 4 feet from the side yard property line, and we're asking for just 10.4 feet from the property line. And then the structural addition is part of the principal house, of course. It's being used, it will be used if built as a home office, because now due to COVID, they're working from home indefinitely. So it's just a small addition that would be 10.4 feet from that side yard. And although the driveway comes in from that side yard now on that paper road, every access point is really from that Harborview Avenue front yard area. And that side yard area is strictly just, recreational. Kids might play on there, but it's actually completely blocked off and wooded on one part of it. So that really is those are really the reasons why we were asking for the variance.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, you're going to make a correction as to what you said. Go ahead.
Yes, just a point of clarification. This is a corner lot on Harborview and Walker Street. Walker Street is unimproved, but it is still an accepted street, so it is a double frontage lot. It's not a side yard.
Right, and it is not an accessory structure that's 4 feet, that can be 4 feet off the property. It's a proposed garage.
It is
Correct.
Yes, it is a proposed garage, a detached garage. And I think that that's what the argument is that we're making, is that although Walker Street is an accepted street, because there's no actual pass through point, there's no cars driving through it, and there's no access to vehicles to drive through, we're requesting that it be considered a side yard for purposes of putting this addition on and allowing the variance.
All right, yeah, so what I wanted corrected though, it's the statement that, you had stated that it was an accessory, like shed or that kind of thing. And yes, that could be 4 foot from the property line, but this is a proposed garage. So we want to make sure that it's clarified as that. Yes.
Chairman, yeah. The proposed garage is an accessory structure.
Well, it's something that wouldn't be, of course, 4 foot from the property line.
No, because It fronts a front yard, not a side yard. That's the
Right,
only
okay.
point I want to make, is that this is a double frontage lot.
Yeah, okay, we realize that. All right, so you know what we need, though? We need there's no hardship stated on the application. We'd like you to state the hardship.
Well, the hardship is that, respectfully, it's that's while it's being considered a corner lot, that side street is not actually an access point. So it's preventing any structures from being built there because it's considered by the zoning board a front yard area, when in fact there's no access. As Harborview, for example, coming through the Harborview street entrance, that would be considered a front yard. And I understand the corner lot because it's an accepted street, but because there's no actual vehicle access and pursuant to the regulations, a street is defined as having vehicle access. It doesn't have that capability. It is completely blocked off.
Okay, commissioners, any other questions? Is there anyone else speaking in favor of this application?
I have a question. How are you going to access this,
Who's speaking right now?
Mrs.
Miss-
Valaket?
Okay, yeah, well, we can't see that, so. Mr. Harris, can you take down the blueprint, please, so we can see who's, okay. All right, go ahead, Ms. Valaket.
I'm just saying, there was pink dotted lines on there represented. Is that how they plan to access going forward? The garage, or?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
What do the pink dotted lines represent? And is that the, the way that you're going to access the garage, or is that how you access it currently?
So the pink dotted lines are actually the current driveway they have an attached garage, and that is the current driveway to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why this proposed garage, I know it's being labeled as a proposed garage, but it's more so being used as a shed and storage unit. So down the line, if they include another paved area to access the garage, that is not in the proposal right now. Right now, it's being used as a shed or storage unit, proposed garage being the storage unit. So no, that pink dotted line is the current driveway.
Okay.
Okay, can I answer your question?
Yep.
All right. Anyone else speaking in favor of this application? Anyone else speaking in favor? Is there anyone here opposed to this application?
Hi, my name is Daniel Kinney. I live at 48 Harborview Ave, wishing to speak in opposition.
Okay. State your reasons, please.
Sure. We live on the other side of that paper road, and currently in one of the other copies of the plan that's on your website under the agenda, it actually shows two doors outlined on the garage, which would face towards that paper road area, which would only be set back 10.4 feet. Our major concern is that if they did wish to use that as a car garage, that setback isn't great enough to allow them to park their cars outside of the garage without having to park on the road. Our lot at 48 Harborview Ave is actually a double lot. So if in the future we ever chose to split that lot and develop the back lot, Walker Road would be the access road to that lot. So our concern is that if that lot were blocked by any development, then that road couldn't be turned into a road and we wouldn't have access to our back lot for future development.
One of our other concerns on
Can you state your
that
name, please?
area. Oh, sorry.
Please.
I'm
Thank you.
Allison Penny. I'm the other homeowner of 48 Harborview Ave.
Okay.
The other concern that we just wanted to present, again, and one of the questions was how they would access that garage that's not currently paved as far back as they're proposing. In the past, actually, when we moved in, the area between the two homes was a mature wooded area. The homeowners of 38 Harborview Ave have actually taken it upon themselves to hire people to come in and remove all of the grown trees between the two homes. Our concern is that they'll continue to develop the town property as they've shown they've done in the past.
All right, so I guess it's Daniel. I only see your first name there.
Yeah, Daniel
You-
Kinney.
The lot that you have behind your lot,
Mhm.
is that, what is the footage on that lot?
We can pull it up.
Is it a building lot? Is there any, there's never any structures or anything
No, there's
that's
no
been
current
added to it?
structures. We actually presented in our letter of opposition, on the second page, it shows the two lots and the location of those in relation to the paper road on the second page.
I have the dimensions if you would like them. So the border next to the paper road is 70 feet, and then the back border is curved, and it's 133 feet. And then on the other side, it's 147 feet long. And then at the front of that lot, it's 100 feet wide.
Okay, so if we were given them, if we gave them this variance, it's only what, 10.4 inches
Feet,
to the property line, is that correct?
10.4 feet.
10.4 feet.
10.4 feet, I'm sorry.
And as of right now, if I may, there is no driveway that's accessing that detached shed or garage. So as of right now, again, it's being used as storage in the proposed plan, and there wouldn't be any blockage to that paper road. So there wouldn't be any issue of cars getting by or access points.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead. Are you speaking, Allison?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Your volume is very low. If you could just.
Sorry. With the two garage doors, we anticipate in the future it would be used to pull in and out of. And currently that wouldn't be possible with, there is overgrowth in that area on the paper road. So it would need to either be cleared or paved to get access to those garage doors where it's not currently. Currently, it's a natural barrier between the two homes.
On the other side of that road is there's no paper road on the other side on your side, is there? That we're thinking there might be. Who owns the property that abuts your lot then?
So our road would our properties would be a double frontage as well. We're just the opposite side of that road.
Okay.
And those
Ms. Klein would just have to wait for a second to hear some of the other opposition, if there is any, and then you'll be able to rebut.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Any other opposition? Anyone else opposed? Commissioners, any questions?
I just wanted to, if it's okay, I would like to add just one thing. We have no
Sure.
opposition to the addition on the house. It's mostly our concern with the garage is just that it's so close to that paper road that it wouldn't allow them to build a normal sized driveway between the road and the garage.
All right, so we're not exactly clear whether it
I understand whether it will ever be.
on what's going to be built there, and she's going to rebut, whatever you have just said. We're not sure. It's stated it's going to be an accessory. It's stated it's going to be a garage in the future. We don't know exactly what it's going to be. So I don't know if we can let this variance go through, and then later on they're going to come back and say they'd like to make a garage. So once the variance is there, it's there. Go ahead, Mr. Harris, you were about to say.
I put up a map for context, just so you can see what everybody's talking about. There's 38, 48. This is the paper street that curves around.
All right, so it's ending right there at the red line. The paper street is ending right at the red line on that first piece of property, correct?
Let me get it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call up the aerial and show you that. Where'd it go?
Okay. All right, any other comments? Ms. Klein, you may speak, please. Go ahead.
It was just in addition to what I had said before, that there are currently no plans for doors to be necessary. I think I don't know exactly what plan was being looked at before, but there are no doors that are being proposed on that side on Walker Street on the paper road right now, and none that we're aware of. So as far as if the variance were to be permitted, it wouldn't be an issue of access to, there shouldn't be an issue of any obstruction or access. And I believe that there was going to be an aerial view pulled up if necessary. You can see the blockage is like right behind the trees, and everything blocking the paper road is right behind there. But there wouldn't be an issue of the obstruction because, again, there's no proposed doors going on Walker Street anyway, and there's no plan to extend a driveway to that accessory structure.
So right now, so it's 21 feet from the accessory, correct?
I'm sorry, what was that?
21 feet from the property line.
It's proposed at 10.4 feet from the property line.
That's the side, isn't it?
The side on the paper street.
Right.
Yes. Mhm.
But to the back, to the property line, to their property line.
Oh, yes, I'm so sorry. Yes, 21.2.
21. Okay.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Mr. Soto, were you about to say something? You're muted. Go ahead.
Okay, Stephen had that other aerial shot, the lots and stuff. So the driveway, right? Okay. So the driveway's on the paper street, and the paper street's all grass. So Stephen, if that's a paper road, how are they allowed to use that for their driveway?
Well, they have access to the principal house. The regulations, to my knowledge, don't mandate you have to have access to a detached accessory building.
Okay. So their driveway now is on the paper road.
Yeah, it is. You can see on the aerial, see where the hand is?
Yeah.
There's a car parked right there.
Yeah.
That's the paved portion that goes to their house. And they want to put the garage somewhere over here.
Right.
Correct.
And is that a building lot, Mr. Harris, right behind it there, did you say?
This? Yeah, this is a lot. This is on Adams Avenue, this house. This is
Yes.
on Adams Avenue. The neighbors live over here, just opposite. And this is their lot.
The opposition is coming from the house that's behind it.
So
No,
Stephen, the one you're on right now, is that with the curve is that a building lot behind that house you're on right now?
Right here?
there, yeah. Is that a building lot?
This is a lot, it's a vacant lot right here.
No,
That's the, I'm sorry, that double lot is the lot we're talking about.
Do you?
Excuse me, this is the secretary. I'm not getting any of Miss Penny's
Sorry.
comments.
So there might be some confusion about which this is Dan Kinney at 48 Harborview Ave. So the place where you have your mouse is the back lot that we were concerned about not having access to if we developed it in the future.
Ah, I see.
So that's the lot we own.
You're across the street from them.
We are across the paper road from them. That's our
Okay.
house.
Oh, I actually thought you're on the back side of them.
No, I'm sorry.
Because there is a big piece of property over there.
They own these, the Kinneys own these two parcels.
Correct. Yes, that's correct.
How is that going to impact you? I mean, they're on the other side of the street.
so the area between our two homes where that paper route is currently, well, it was a very nice mature wooded area. They cut the trees down. They've already started to develop on that property, but our concern is that by putting the garage directly abutting that paper road, that they will continue to use that as part of their property and their driveway, limiting access to our back lot. They've sort of set a precedence that they will use that property that belongs to the town as their own. We just want to make sure that that doesn't extend now to the new garage space.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Sarah.
So if the proposed detached garage is not going to have garage doors on Walker Street, and there is no plan to extend the driveway down Walker Street, and the garage is just going to be used for storage, why can't it be moved further into the lot? It's detached. You're not trying to match it up with any existing lines.
Right.
Well, as of right now, the reason is because it would take up too much room in the actual yard. I mean, they still want to be able to have some of their yard in use. And because it's a storage unit and just aesthetically speaking, it matches up with it would just look better than having it in the middle of the yard. So that is the reason. I mean, they have a garage right now, so the plan is not necessarily for it to have cars put in it. It's really for storage, for lawn care and all of that.
Can't they, there's a garage on the opposite side that's 210 square feet. Isn't that what the plan says?
I'm sorry, the garage on the opposite side,
Yeah,
the existing garage.
yeah.
And what was your question? I'm sorry.
Can't they just expand on that?
Um,
They have plenty of room in the back.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, that garage is already there. I mean, extending it into the back again would take up more space and it wouldn't necessarily look right. Again, I mean, it is their home, and extending that garage further out would not be as convenient for having their lawn materials and everything to access it, especially if they do use that as, you know, a garage for their cars and everything. It's just not as useful as a shed detached from the garage in that back area of the yard would be.
Do you know who paid for that driveway on Walker Street?
Who paid for it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the answer to that. I can find out for you potentially, but I'm not sure. I don't believe it was my client's.
What's happening to the other shed on the property?
The shed on the property?
The other shed on the other side of the property in the back. What's happening with that?
Way in the back corner.
Yeah. That small shed is going to stay as it is right now. They don't have.
Why can't a lawnmower go in that shed?
It is a small shed and they have a lot of lawn to take care of.
Why don't you just replace that shed with a bigger shed and not build this 24 by 24 just for lawn equipment? It's kind of big. I mean, that doesn't sound, something doesn't sound right to me.
I think the point of the storage shed is for any.
Is your client in the landscaping business or?
My client's in the construction business and has materials that he'd like to keep there. I mean,
Okay, that makes sense now.
using it for, you know, to be able to do all that stuff that you guys do that I don't know about, you know, building things in the shed and having that space is really what it's being used for.
Okay.
I have another question. I
Go ahead.
do believe you said that there were not going to be garage doors on Walker Street, but I have a plan here that was in the agenda that shows the doors facing Walker Street. Can you clarify that?
If you can point me to the plan that you're.
Oh, it's in the agenda.
Oh, I think I see which one it is.
It's sheet 2, I think, the last link on the agenda.
Yes, I have it in front of me. Honestly, it was just for purposes of the plan, proposing that they look good, having the 2 barn doors there. Again, it really is not, there's no driveway leading there. So unless they were to drive onto their lawn, they don't have any plans, and you'll see in all of the plans, there's no plan to extend any driveway there. So it's really just so that it looks nice, and isn't necessary if that would be the reason why the board wouldn't allow for the detached shed to be there.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, we've got people have talked for this, and we have people who are opposed. So If there's no other comments, I'm going to close this hearing. And this hearing is closed. Okay, what are your thoughts? This is a big piece of property, and again, I mean, 24 by 24 is pretty large. If accessory unit. So I think there's room to do something toward the rear of the property.
Yeah, they got plenty. It's a
I
big
mean,
lot.
it's stated like, we don't want to do that, but they can make use of the property.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of extra space, either attaching onto the existing garage or moving the proposed garage or replacing the small shed with something bigger there. Whatever they want to do, I think that there are plenty of options for restructuring this so that there is no variance needed.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
just in case everybody forgot, there's another part of this variance, which is, I'll put the map up on the screen again.
Up in the front part of the property.
This addition to the house is also part of the variance request. It's not all
Okay.
about this.
Okay.
So, just so you don't forget about that.
All right, we did. Actually, we're talking about this here. All right, so
I have no
you
problem.
could look at that, and if your concerns are the shed or garage.
I have problems with the home addition. I have a problem with the garage though.
Okay, so we can
Thank you.
split it. There's no way of denying without prejudice and on the plans with that, so we just approve what you think you should approve on this one here. So if one of you want to make a motion to that effect.
Okay. I make a motion to approve the home addition and deny the garage, proposed garage. And it approval is based on the closeness of the house to the street, and the garage denial is based on there's plenty of other room and other options available without a variance.
Okay, thank you. We need a second.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, Ms. Valakut seconded. Okay. All right, we have a motion to approve the extension on the house and deny the second part of the application. Ms. Ferranti,
With the motion.
Mr. Casey,
With the motion.
Mr. Soto,
With the motion.
Ms. Valakut.
With the motion.
I'm with the motion. It's approved with the conditions stated.
Thank you.
Item number 6, 40 Wood Avenue, MBP 12/118/13, R5.
I got
Three
it.
Properties LLC owner, varies section 3.1.4.1, side yard setback of 5 feet where 10 feet required to construct a new single-family dwelling.
Oops.
Item number 6. Who's speaking on item number 6?
It's Joe Reyes. I'm the one that owns the property next door, Reyes Properties, 40 Wood Avenue.
Okay,
I'm just basically asking for the same there from the house that originally got knocked down. It's actually a foot wider than the house that was there. I mean, I'm trying to get a house in there that fits, at least a family of 4. 2-car garage on the bottom with a 400 square foot in the back and apartment upstairs, which would be 600 square feet, which that would give me about 1,200 square feet of living space. I mean, like I said, what was there before was just 2'5" on one side, and there was 7'6" on the other side. And now basically we're just putting the house in the center and asking for a foot bigger than what we're here. Basically, we're the house on the street on Wood Avenue that just got approved, and that is almost done. We're asking for the same width that they put in. 15 foot is really not much to live in. It's very tight, and I mean, I don't know if you can see behind me, but basically this house here is 17 feet wide, and there's not much room here. We literally could fit 4 people in our living room to sit in. I mean, we can't really have family functions because it's not big enough. So I'm just asking for something that I could get at least a family of 4 in there. And the reason why it's raised property is not because of, the that's the builder. That's actually my property. I bought it under that because I got taught to where when you buy a second home, never put it under your name, put it under something else, and that's why it's raised properties.
So this house is 20 by 40?
Yes, sir.
Is this house going to be elevated, or the garage is just going to, your first
It's
floor
just-
is going to be up?
Yeah, the first floor is gonna be, the front part is gonna be a 20 by 20 garages, 2-car garage. And then in the back would be a 20 by 20 would be the utilities, some of the utilities and part of a living space. And then it would be the first floor upstairs, and that would be the main living quarters.
And is there going to be a floor above that also, or no?
Hopefully, if I, depending on the budget.
Okay. Height on the house,
Can't
you
get
don't
that.
have any of that proposed.
If I can't get the budget, for the 4 upstairs, that's why I'm saying I would get at least 1,200 square feet out of this house with a 5-foot
Right,
variance.
so you're planning on adding, you're doing what you're doing right now, and you're planning on adding maybe another floor above that, is that correct?
If the budget requires it, yeah. So
Any other parking in the front there? Is there in the driveway area, or?
You could fit a car. If I, because I have 37 feet in the back, so it's a 20-foot setback in the backyard. So if I wanted to park cars, I could just move the house back another 2 feet. And it's 12 foot. That's actually a standard parking spot for cars in any, parking lot. They're usually 12 feet long. Reason why I know is I do construction for a living. So if
12 foot seems like a short car, but.
well, 12 feet is a standard parking spot in the parking lot.
Okay.
Mr.
I
Chairman,
mean,
Yes.
in Milford, parking spaces are 9 feet wide by 18 feet deep.
18 feet
Okay.
long.
So
right.
currently there's no way to drive past. With this plan, there's no way to drive past the house to get into the backyard. Because he's asking for a 5-foot setback.
Can you move this house back?
Yes.
Well, the thought being, like, when I first looked at this, to be quite honest with you, I thought, if there's no parking under the house, where are you going to park the cars? Because that street, there is no parking on that street. That's obvious.
No, there's the commuter lot. There's a commuter lot for the street down the street. But I use my own driveway. I have a tandem driveway. And like I said, the reason why I have a tandem driveway is because my house is only 17 feet wide. And it's a 2'5" on one side, as opposed to 5 foot. It's old variance. It's been here for years. So, but that proposal that he drew on there, what I was told was that they needed a sketch roughly of what the size of house would go on there, like a 20 by 40. And I made it from the 10 foot instead of sending it back to, 15 foot or 20 foot, which it could go back 10 feet.
Can you,
Because like I said, it's 37 feet in the back.
can you move that house back further?
Yes. I mean, I
Chairman, I have a-
prefer it back a little further, because being that close to the road, the houses get very dusty in here.
All right. Any other comments, Mr. Soto? You look like you had a comment.
Yeah, so there is not parking under the house?
I want
no
a 2-car garage on there, yeah.
There's a 2-car garage under the house.
That's my plan, is to put a 2-car garage under the house.
I still think you need to push that house back to like 18 feet off the,
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not opposed to that at all. Like I said, that was just a sketch because they told me to put what size house was gonna go on the lot. So I did a 20, well, the
at
engineer,
least 18 feet from the sidewalk, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Because that's the average
Right.
car.
Mr. Chairman,
All right, who's calling?
Steve Harris.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm looking at the survey and it's, as proposed, he's 37.1 feet from the back of the house to the rear property line. So if he pushes the house back 8 feet, yeah, he'll be
25
fine.
25 foot.
That's 25 foot, yeah.
He only needs 20 feet, so he'll be fine.
Okay.
Okay. Can we, if this is approved, can we state that? Or do we have to have this changed before we approve it?
No, you can state that.
We can make that part of the motion.
Okay, can we make that part of the motion?
Applicants propose what they want to do. Changing an application on the fly without looking at a finished plan is not wise, in my opinion.
Okay,
It's also not, it also wasn't advertised in some
That way.
shape or fashion.
true, okay.
This plan
All
is what was advertised.
So our best thing to do on this is deny without prejudice, and when we get exactly what it should be stated, then we can move forward with it. Anyone else speaking in favor of this application? Do we have anyone here opposed? Anyone here opposed to this application?
Well,
Parking when no other place has parking.
No one else, and no one else opposed, okay. All right,
Ask them that.
hold on.
what do you want to do, commissioners, with this?
Let's deny it without prejudice.
All
and
right, let me just close the hearing then, if there's no other comments. All right, Mr. Reese, we'll let you make one more comment, and because I'm going to close this hearing.
All right, just quick question. If I'm gonna do a two-car garage underneath, that's parking for the house. Okay, so down the street, they don't even have 20 feet in their property. The house is probably within 16 feet from the road. I know that their property actually is staked out 3 feet out into the road. That's where their property comes to by the surveyor.
You're citing other properties on your road. Is that
Yes,
what you're
it's,
saying? We had no control, or that might have been way before any of the zoning rules were.
no, actually, they just had it built. They're putting the house up right now.
It doesn't have a garage.
It doesn't have a garage, and they just put stairs coming out into the front driveway where they put a car there and the car sticks out onto the road.
Mr. Chairman.
Well, here's what we can do then. Yeah, I mean, you can voice a complaint on that piece of property, but that would be not what we're using right now to clarify.
Okay.
To clarify this here. We just, yes, sir, Mr. Harris.
I could get,
Mr. Chairman, if I may, if the applicant wants to state on the record that he will put 2 parking spaces in a garage built on the ground floor into the house, then he will be zoning compliant for parking.
yes, I will put 2 garages.
Okay.
All right, if you're okay with that. All right, so what are we doing then? You don't want that, you still want the house moved back, correct?
So 2-car garage underneath and 2 parking spots in front of the garage. Is that what you're saying, Stephen?
He's only required to have 2 parking spaces. If he incorporates 2 parking garages into the building footprint, then he's zoning compliant for parking.
Okay.
Then the application is just the way it stands. If that's all right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We were looking for additional car in the front.
But you can't mandate that.
Okay. All right. All right. Any other comments before we close this? Okay, the hearing's closed. All right. Thoughts for your motion?
If he's giving us the parking underneath, this, it's not a bad proposal. 5 feet on each side, 20-foot wide house isn't bad.
Okay.
You don't want to go much narrower than that.
That's
Okay.
a pretty minimum width, and he's centering it on the lot. It was offset before. It's about the same as what was there. I'm okay with it.
All right. Who wants to make the motion?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve. We have a second on the motion. Ms. Ferranti,
With the motion.
Mr. Casey,
With the motion.
Ms. Felakit,
With the motion.
Mr. Soda.
With the motion.
I'm with the motion. It's approved. Sorry for the clock.
Thank you.
It's 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I know.
That was pretty good. All right. So, all right. I guess I said it's approved, correct? It's approved. All right. New business? No new business. Okay. Do we have any old business? No. Staff update? Accepting the minutes from October 13th, 2020 hearing. We read them, we looked through them, everything's fine. That was only two hearings last month, so Meg got the message out within a couple of the meeting minutes out within a day or two, so today will take longer, right, Meg? All right, all in favor of that? Aye.
Bye.
Aye.
Applications for next month, we have, as stated in the beginning, we should have 2.
That's 17
17
Maddox
Maddox,
and 8 Lawrence.
Lawrence, and Mr. Harris, I believe you mentioned another one earlier or somewhere along the line. Do you have anything else or no?
No.
No? Those 2 might take up a couple of hours. We'll see what happens next month. All right, anything else? Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for participating this evening.
Nice background, Stephen.
All right, you guys later.
Good evening.
Thanks, bye.
Good night,
Bye.
everybody.
Everybody.
Hey, guys, sorry about next month, huh? We can't get together this year.
Oh,
Anyway. All right, take care.
we can
Bye.
do